Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Landorus with the move Sansear Storm in the Open Master League. This Pokemon now does not really want to run the move Superpower anymore because you have better coverage now and a move that doesn't debuff yourself but debuffs the opponent. But with this, of course, you're always going to have some kind of downside with this, which is going to be the damage output, which is not as crazy good as, for example, the one of the Superpower. You still do a little bit less damage, while you also need 5 more energy to get to this move. So it is like kind of back and forth. I actually thought that this move is like an instant upgrade in making this Pokemon insanely good, but I have to say it is definitely a little bit better, but it is not a huge difference. Like, it does not really make too much of a difference because I honestly sometimes really appreciate how fast you can get to Superpower, how much damage you can get with Superpower, and then you can just swap out afterwards and you're going to be fine. While here, the issue is just that you're going to be, most likely stuck in a matchup and try to basically debuff the opponent's attack to win it in like a 2-shit scenario or whatever. Before, basically, Landorus was just a very dynamic Pokemon where you can just go ahead and go for a Superpower, swap out, and then go in later with a little bit of energy. But yeah, first game here we're going to be able to win because the RPS the opponent, but let's move on to the next one. Still, now we're going to see one of the benefits though of the move Sansear Storm, which is going to be against the Ho-Oh, because you can now go for a bait move that doesn't debuff yourself, which is very important because a lot of people don't really know this anymore. So basically you're always going to get the shield because nobody would go for Superpower to debuff your own attack and own defense. But now of course you have a bait move which can be very decent. But again, like, the matchup here still is not going to be the greatest. As you see already, our health declining pretty fast. You're going to be able to get both of our shields, but you're always going to be able to win this in the 2-shield scenario like this. But the opponent is going to swap out here, and we're going to see the Dialga swapping in. Luckily, what is kind of cool about it as well is that Sansear Storm perfectly put the Dialga into Dialga range, which is kind of funny. Of course, the opponent actually can still go for one more Iron Head here, but they cannot reach a Draco Meteor, which is like the only thing that really scares me. So this is actually kind of nice. They're going to go back into the Ho-Oh. They have to eat a Draco Meteor, which is most likely going to get the knockout against the opponent as well. And so we're going to be in a fairly decent spot, as they're going to have a Zekrom in the back. We can at least still damage them with the Dragon Breath, but double debuff Dragon Breath didn't do that much damage. I can still go into my Mewtwo, and I should be able to survive one charge move from the opponent. Fairly certain that even a Crunch would not knock me out here. It's going to be the Crunch, it doesn't knock me out, and so we can go for the Side Strike, and this should be enough to knock out the opponent. Just barely not actually, but we can farm them down and win the game. Next opponent, we're going to have Landorus against Landorus. And here you see already my IV spread is like pretty bad for Landorus. I built this because it was a lucky variant, which I already had at level 40 the last time, so that's why I built it. Should most likely go for better IVs. Here the opponent has a Hundo, also with the best body ribbon. I don't think it's attached right now, but it's definitely there. And so I decided to swap out here onto their Stone Edge, as I can go for the next charge move from my Mewtwo. And the opponent stays in here, which kind of tells me that they're most likely also already running the move Sansear Storm on their Pokemon. Also thinking that the lead would be the best place for the Landorus now, and they have also a Dialga in the back, so we're kind of having very similar teams. I don't think that they're going to have a Mewtwo in the back because basically the core of Dialga plus Landorus is basically safe. Like, you kind of always have to run this core because it is just so insanely good at covering each other's weaknesses. For example, here you have a weakness against ice as well as water for the Landorus, and you're going to be able to resist at least the water and still having super effective damage against ice Pokemon with the Dialga, while Dialga is going to be weak against ground as well as fighting type Pokemon, and you're going to be able to resist those moves with a Landorus. So that's why you're always going to see this core. Here you're going to see actually a Rayquaza with it, which is something that I did not really expect, but also I make a huge mistake here, which you're going to see now. I decided to still go for a charge move here. If I just went straight for the full farm down, I would have won this game. And like, this is something that I was just really sad to see, to be fair, because it would have been an easy win. We actually got a draw there still, which you saw, but yeah, let's move on to the next opponent. Here's a thing that I have to say as well. You don't see all of the battles of this team basically here as well, but there were so many Zygarde cores and Zygarde Solgaleo cores. And basically what this does now with Master League is making this Master League so much slower, which I just don't really like. I was like, usually you have like 2 to 3 minute battles in the Master League. The amount of 4-minute battles are mostly cut out because they were just like straight and forward, just throwing some moves, doing basically no damage. It was just so lame to see, I would say. But like, honestly, like, Master League for me at least is not really the league that I like anymore because of the Zygarde mainly, as well as the Solgaleo. I feel like Zygarde was the biggest issue, but also buffing Solgaleo this season was, in my opinion, also a pretty silly move from Niantic. But yeah, we're going to be able to at least go for a shield here against the opponent's Shadow Ho-Oh, which is kind of wild as well. We can try to go for the full farm down here. Of course, the opponent got the debuff, and with this, they're going to be able to get to another charge move, which they wouldn't have got to otherwise, but we don't talk about this. As the opponent is going to go down, we will see the opponent most likely going to go back. Oh, never mind, they're actually going to go into a Reshiram. That's kind of great, because I can swap out here and go for the super effective Sansia Storm, and it just basically does next to... not next to no damage, but for a so attack rated ground type Pokemon going for a stab super effective move against the Reshiram, it did not really do a ton of damage. And here at least we're still going to be able to reach another one against the opponent's Zygarde. And with the 2 debuffs on this Pokemon, I'm fairly certain that the Dialga can actually survive the Earthquake Word is coming through now as well from the opponent, so we should be kind of fine here because of the double debuff onto their attack, and we are going to be kind of fine. So we can hopefully still farm on the Reshiram. Let's take a look at this. Of course, we lose with a 1 HP. Like, if I even went for a charge move and went for the CMP tie, I might have won this game. That's so silly. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Mewtwo against us in the lead. We can go for the Sansia Storm. I'm going to use a shield here because, of course, Sansia Storm is going to be able to debuff the opponent. But what we're going to try to do here now as well is going to, go ahead and go for the Sansia Storm, of course, first. Going to see that it doesn't two-shot them, which is kind of sad. And I'm deciding to catch the move onto the Mewtwo. Worked out pretty well, right? Just honestly, like, I don't know, like, it's just weird to me. But I'm going to be able to go for the Side Strike now against the opponent. Of course, they catch on an uneven timing here onto the Dialga. It's just like, honestly, like today, I feel like a lot of things just didn't really work my way, even though, yeah, there was not really, that was... I know, honestly, I just don't really know a lot of decisions here. Should have been going for a Shadow Ball, which would have one-shot the opponent most likely from this range, but no, I went for the Side Strike, so the opponent can just let those moves go through. Like, it feels like the opponent just knows which moves I'm going to go for, I don't know, like, it's literally always the same. But Iron Head is going to be caught here on the Landorus, which I didn't want to do. I just want to go for the Snipe, but again, kind of feels like everything is going to against me right now. But as you're gonna see here, of course, they're going to have a Flying type in the back as well, which you're not going to be able to hit with the opponent's yeah, Rayquaza here. We get the debuff. Oh my god, that's so crazy. I mean, it's guaranteed, so like, it's not really that crazy. We're going to be able to swap out into our Dialga. They go into the Mewtwo. And with this, we're going to hopefully still have a decent time here. They're going to go for the Shadow Ball. It is doing some decent damage, but again, like, we still should be okay here, I would imagine. But, yeah, again, I want to go now for the Nyx Iron Head here. And, yeah, that was also great for me. Honestly, if the opponent let the move go through from the Iron Head anyway, they would have won this game. So, like, I don't think that I would have actually won this game, but still, yeah, it's very clunky right now as well for me. Like I said already in the video yesterday, it's still the same for me right now. I know if it's same for you as well, but like right now, Cobalt feels really clunky for already like 3-4 days, which is of course amazing when we have like 10 sets to play, and it's like really frustrating because you're not going to be able to click charge moves and stuff like this, but it is what it is. Here we're going to see a Lugia coming in. At least we're going to be able to play a little bit better here. Catching the move of the Lugia onto our Dialga. I can get a ton of energy now. I'm still going to be forced to go for a charge move here, but like again, it's just going to be the Iron Head because I don't want to get hit by the opponent's big charge move of Aeroblast. So we're going to get the knockout against the opponent. In comes again here the opponent's Zacian, and maybe I can even reach an Iron Head in time, and I actually can, which is kind of confusing here because it definitely would have been already in the move. But this allows us to get a shield from the opponent, and I can just sacrifice my Dialga, which I'm totally okay with. They're gonna go for the close combat most likely, exactly, and they're going to test the Wild Charge plus their own close combat. This guy, I think, their moveset. So we're going to be able to just use a shield here against the opponent. It's going to be the Wild Charge, exactly. We can try to go for the full farm now, but they're going to have the Dialga in the back. And if we're going to go for the charge move here, we should be kind of fine. You saw me over farming by a little bit here because I want to get the opponent a little bit less energy from farming me down. So I let them basically farm me down with like not the lowered attack yet. So now I can swap into my Mewtwo, go for the Side Strike, and I see that 2 Side Strikes should be enough to knock them out. At least that's what I think here. Let's take a look. We're going to see the Iron Head coming through. Of course, going to also be debuffed right now anyway, so it's not going to do too much damage if it would hit us. But let's take a look at this. We're going to be able to go for the Side Strike, and it just barely doesn't knock us out. And of course, the opponent gets to the move with a 1 HP in a dream. Going to be just the Iron Head, and we actually still survive with 1 HP thanks to the debuff, so that's kind of great. We can go for the Shadow Ball and win this game, but honestly, roller coaster. Next opponent, we're going to see here the Zacian in the lead, which is going to be usually a really good matchup for us, because like there's basically no Zacian that is running Play Rough in the lead. They're all running Wild Charge plus Close Combat, so we can just basically let the move go through. It's very likely just exactly as said before, like there's nobody that is running Play Rough in the lead right now. They swap into the Lugia onto the charge move, which is a smart move by them. And going to allow still to drop the attack, so it's at least not completely wasted. I can still go for a Stone Edge if I want to, but I don't want to. I want to swap out into my Dialga. And they can go for the Aeroblast. Now, I actually cannot really remember this game, so it's going to be an interesting one here. Aeroblast is coming through, going to do some decent amount of damage, not too crazy though either. And I can now go for the Draco Media, I guess, because I have to. Anything else is not going to be able to knock them out. And so yeah, we can actually go for the straight knockout, which is kind of funny. They go into their own Dialga, which is going to get some energy. I barely miss out of the Iron Head, which does not really matter. And I can go back into my Landorus as they can catch the move with their Zacian. Still, this game is not over yet. I feel like there's definitely a way of winning this for us. So we're going to use a shield here, and I think I can farm them all the way down, which should be really great. So let's see, I can. And with this, I can just go straight for the Sensia Storm, and I think I might be even able to reach another one afterwards, which would be amazing. So let's see, can I still reach another one? I can, and with this we're going to be able to force either another shield or get a ton of damage onto the opponent. We're going to force the final shield of the opponent. They had -2 attack here as well, so they basically do no damage against us. We should have put them into range for 2 Side Strikes again here, hopefully. So let's see if this is actually going to be the case. First Side Strike is coming through here. I think this is the way to go. Let's see. Side Strike is going to connect, and yes, this is an easy, clear knockout there with the second one. So this is going to be it for this game, and we can move on to the second to last for today. Okay, moving on to the next one, we're going to have the Xerneas in the lead, which is going to be, of course, a little bit of a neutral lead for us, but they swap out into the Mewtwo, which I was, like, kind of fine with. And right now, like, nobody is running Focus Blast on Mewtwo, so you kind of safe to go into the Dialga and just let the move go through, because you always need kind of Shadow Ball for Solgaleo. Like I said already today, like today nothing really goes my way. But yeah, like basically nobody is running Focus Blast. The only person that is running Focus Blast I'm going to encounter now. Like imagine I went into my own Mewtwo. Like it is so much unsafer to go into your Mewtwo in a Mewtwo mirror than going to the Dialga, because like basically 99% are running Shadow Ball. And yes, of course, I do respect them running the move Focus Blast, and I do think it's not a bad play. I think Focus Blast has some play in the current meta, but especially in the upper Master League meta, the amount of Solgaleos that you encounter kind of force you to run Focus Blast, in my opinion. Not Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, of course, in my opinion. That would be kind of funny. But yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like this is such a silly play. But it, of course, worked out for the opponent, and it, of course, kind of showcased as well how unlucky I was. And this is the thing as well. I think this team is actually really good. I would recommend you to try out this team. I think this team should work out really, really well. But the amount of times where I was just, like, really unlucky, in my opinion, was kind of wild. So that's why it doesn't really perform that crazy for me. But again, I feel like also if you play a little bit better, like I don't want to put myself out of here. I definitely did some misplays as well. Don't really feel like I'm playing really well right now as well, but I feel like also there's a lot going on for me right now, but this does not really matter. But yeah, Sensia Storm going to get the attack drop onto the opponent, and I needed to go for the Stone Edge here. I should have went for the Stone Edge. It was a silly play to not go for that, because that was my only win con basically, and I didn't go for it, and it was just so silly. So again, like this would have been something that I could have won if I just played it better. Not the mistake of the Landorus, the mistake of myself. Final opponent for today, again, you kind of don't really see Play Rough at all on the lead of Zacian, so you kind of find just going to let the move go through. If they're going to be Say-Soap, they usually have Play Rough for potential Giratina, but otherwise they're barely going to run it. Again, they're going to have the Wild Charge here, as predicted, and I can go for the CMP type because I know that I win the CMP type here with the Sensia Storm, getting the knockout, and they're going to swap out into the Ho-Oh, and with this I can even go for the debuffing bait move here basically as well. And what we're also going to be able to do, look at this by the way, I'm just going to go for one fast move because I know that the damage output is coming out now onto the Mewtwo, which is kind of nice. I'm going to use a shield, but I now have a Sensia Storm stored, and this is going to be important for the matchup that is coming in right now, which is going to be the Dialga. And so I can go for the Side Strike here. The Side Strike is my best play. The opponent is going to use a shield, which is totally fine, and you see me going for another Side Strike. I don't go for the Shadow Ball, mainly because I need to get this move off, because otherwise they would not be in range for Sensia Storm. And with this, they are in range for Sensia Storm, and I would have not been able to knock them out with my Mewtwo anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I did there. So with this, I just had to go for one Side Strike, go for one Sensia Storm, knock them out, swap out, and now I have a shield advantage Dialga against a Ho-Oh, and with this should be kinda clear. I think even if they get the debuff now with the Sacred Fire, we still should be kinda fine. And so, this is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. But yeah, check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!